Hey folks, welcome to the Manure Mail, the Poo Poo Post, Bantha Fodder. Today we're going to talk about this fellow, Dr. Jack Brown, a self-proclaimed body language expert who uses his body language expertise to basically post about people he doesn't like and project upon them personality disorders as well as a number of other things that are probably outside of his realm of expertise. Near as I could tell about this fellow, he was on cable news at one point, I guess, but talking to a couple people, couldn't find any credentials as far as, say, psychology goes. This is purely him proclaiming himself to be some sort of body language expert. And the expertise is probably just, I say interesting enough things to get engagement or to end up on cable news, and people will just believe somebody's an expert because you happen to say that. Here's what he said. Judge Schroeder's overall pattern of hyperbolic facial expressions, even with mundane subject matter, is highly correlative with histrionic personality disorder. Does he even know what histrionic personality disorder is? Here's a very brief primer on it. I crave sin. So if you've ever seen any of these, there's a bunch of little... The person on this account didn't make this up because I've seen it elsewhere, but just little phonetic devices to remember some of the traits of this. Inappropriate behavior, seductive or provocative. Is this a seductive or provocative man? Usually it's women that tend to be associated with this supposed personality disorder, a cluster B personality disorder, in case anybody's wondering. A center of attention. Well, I mean, he's kind of the center of attention in a trial. Relationships are seen as closer than they really are. I don't think so. Appearance is most important. Vulnerable to other suggestions. Emotional expression is exaggerated. Okay, so he's got one there. Shifting emotions. Shallow. Impressionistic manner of speaking. Lacks detail. A lawyer is going to lack detail. A lawyer is going to speak in an impressionistic manner. I don't really think so. Novelty is craved. Well, I don't know about that. He might like different sprinkles on his ice cream every week. Who knows? But the point is that this guy uses his self-proclaimed expertise not to really do any kind of analysis. The other one he did, and unfortunately this tweet is deleted, probably wisely for this guy's perspective. He took a screenshot of Kyle Rittenhouse making a motion of putting a magazine into a rifle and said that it was a masturbation gesture and that it indicated he was a sexual sadist. Now, I didn't screenshot this tweet, unfortunately. I will learn from my mistakes maybe and screenshot something like this in the future. But the point is that this guy, if we just go look at his... profile, he's self-identifying himself with one tribe, and he's just going to impress upon people he thinks he doesn't like or are part of the other tribe some set of traits that are negative or indicative of some personality disorder. So to me, this guy's either lying and he's a fraud and he knows what he's doing, he's just making shit up, or if he's very serious about this sort of thing, he might be on the autism spectrum, meaning he's incapable of understanding body language, because this is not something that a normal person would ever be able to actually pick up on. This is probably the kind of guy who can't read a room when he gets into it, doesn't realize that the person he's talking to doesn't like him, is missing all of those social cues, if he's serious about this. Otherwise, which is I happen to think is more likely, he just happens to be a fraud. So that's Dr. Jack Brown. He might be a physician, but I don't know what other kinds of expertise you have. There's no school of body language that you go to learn about people's body language. This is something that you pick up in what tends to be called an dictory manner. That's non-spoken rules of social engagement if you've ever studied anthropology. For instance, you get into an elevator, you tend to move away from the other person in the elevator to give them personal space. That idea of personal space is something that is silent, but it's part of our culture here in the West, and it doesn't always exist in other cultures. You can go to another culture where people stand close together. That's being able to pick up on the kind of cues, the kind of matrix that exists between everybody socially. There's no school of this is what body language means. People communicate with body language in all kinds of different ways in different circumstances. So taking screenshots of the judge, which you don't like because he was berating the lawyers that you think are for your tribe, which is exactly what this guy was doing, not really indicative of an expert. And certainly you're going to degrade your ability to call yourself an expert every time you grab a screenshot of some kid showing how a rifle is loaded and say that he's making a masturbation gesture to the judge and jury and indicating that he's a sexual sadist at the age of 18, 17 at the time the incident occurred. So anyway, guys, thanks so much. If you are watching this, leave me your thoughts down below in a comment. And don't forget to subscribe and like it for the algorithm. And I'll see you guys next time.